Hello and welcome back to the Secrets of Strixhaven limited set review. In this video, I'll be discussing all of the black cards and my expectations for them in primarily the draft with a little bit of sealed mixed in limited formats. If you haven't been here before, there's 5 tiers that I use to evaluate cards. It's loosely based more so around where I expect to pick the cards in a given draft, more so than raw power level, because the raw power level only matters in a vacuum, and we don't live in a vacuum. So we're gonna get started here a little bit adventurously. Adventurous Eater. 2 black, 3/2 enters prepared, and the prepared spell is a sorcery for single black that puts a +1/+1 counter on target creature. You gain 1 life. I don't like this very much. So if you think about this as kind of like the opposite of that witch from Wilds of Eldraine, that you had a 1 mana spell where you could make something bigger. You put like a roll token on something, and then you go to 2/3 with menace. This is just a lot worse than that in every direction. Um, so I kind of hate it because that card wasn't even that great. It was fine. It was like a fine card. This card is much worse than that card in every conceivable fashion. So I am not excited about it. Arcane Omens, 4 and a black sorcery, converge. Target player discards X cards, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. Not really a card you want, even if you were playing 5 colors. Like, it's just not very good. Um, I could see the argument that if the format is like insanely slow, and it's like, oh, this is a value engine format, and I'm playing like a 4 color deck, like you could bring this out of the board. I think that's like a real thing. You actually could bring this out of the sideboard. That doesn't mean that it's going to be above tier 5. Sideboard cards are always in tier 5 because you would never main deck them. This is not like this is definitely more of a sideboard card, and I don't really see. I just don't see it, right? Like even if you got 3 cards for 5 mana, that wouldn't be worth it. So I don't really think. Um, I don't really think this is a good card, even if you're playing 1 extra color. So you really need to be playing sort of like the all in, and then if you're all in, do you want to turn 5? I don't know. Not excited about it. Arnon Deathbloom Botanist. 2 and a black for a 2/2 with Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with power or toughness 1 or less dies, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I just really don't like 3 mana 2/2s. Tier 5 is very harsh, but like I get it. Like you make the pests and the pests die, and then this thing drains your opponent for 2. Great. Um, it's also only stuff you control, so the -3/-3 doesn't work with this. Just another thing to look at. Doesn't work. Doesn't trigger itself. It's a 3 mana 2/2. I just think this sucks. I don't really. I don't know. I'm not. The 3 drops that never block or trade well with 2 drops. Pretty much like a blanket no for me. Like generally like a blanket no. I'm out on this. If it ends up being great, cool. I don't. I don't think it's very good. Borog Banemaker, another just single black for a 1/1 with Death Touch. You can pay 1 and a black to give it +1/+1 until end of turn. So I don't think this card's all that bad necessarily. The 1 mana 1/1 Death Touch guy is usually okay. This one I feel is a little bit worse than usual because sometimes the 1 mana 1/1 Death Touch is like a good blocker and then it has another effect. This one is a good blocker, but the other thing that it does is it wants to attack, which kind of weird. It doesn't do any of the life gain stuff, so I don't know. Like it doesn't play super well in black white either because the body's small, and putting counters on your death touch creature is generally a little redundant. It's not something you usually want to do. So I don't know. I just don't really see it. The one thing is, like, you in the counters deck, just having any creature on board matters. So, like, 1 drops are a thing. Like, you do actually want to have 1 drops. And this is a 1 drop at common. So, it's not in tier 5. I just don't think it's a high priority. Yeah. Cheerful Osteomancer. 3 and a black for a 4/2 when it enters prepared. And it has Raise Dead as a sorcery. So, it's a single black to return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This is awful. It's very, very bad. It doesn't solve any of the problems that Gravedigger has, and it's gonna you're basically paying an extra mana for 2 points of power. Um, had a little bit of flexibility, but not really. Yeah, this is terrible. This is not good. It's not in tier 5 because Gravedigger is not quite that bad yet in human in like our history. And this one, unlike Gravedigger, does at least trade with some things. Like you can actually trade off, and that's actually something that it can do. But yeah, we've just seen the Gravediggers underperform forever. The one in the last set, well, I guess not the last set, but like the last real set, was the Lorwyn one that was a changeling. I think even that one underperformed a lot of people's expectations. People thought that card was going to be really good. It was not great. It was okay. It performed okay. I wouldn't describe it as like a good card or anything. It had type synergies with everything, and that was really more of what was going on there. I don't think Gravedigger is back by any means. Cost of Brilliance. 2 into black sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Another kind of like situational card where I'm like, yeah, I mean, if this was in my deck, would it kill me? Probably not. Like, I really wouldn't hate it that much, but like, I certainly wouldn't pick it early in the draft. I'd be pretty sad if I had to pick this even remotely early. So, like, I don't think it's like horrendous, but I don't know. Black, by the way, black is starting off with what is it, like 6 consecutive tier 4 or 5 cards? All right, now we've got a tier 3 card. Decorum Dissertation. 3 black black for the lesson, the black lesson. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life, and it has Paradigm, so every turn you can cast a copy of it if you want. This one I think is considerably worse than the blue one and the white one, and I think it's because it gets you in these weird spots, right? Like, okay, you cast 5 mana to draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Okay, fine. You can start burning your opponent out, but if you're not in the right spot, this doesn't do that fast enough. You can draw cards to get back in the game, but if you're behind, it doesn't do that well enough. It's just kind of weird. It's extremely powerful to just be able to cast a 0 mana spell every turn, though. So I don't think I think just having it in tier 3 is fine. I'm possibly underrating all of these because they do just happen for the rest of the game. Even the blue and white ones I didn't have in like tier 1, which maybe is just wrong. But they all of them require a little bit of setup because you do have to basically like survive for a turn or two before they take over the game. And you are spending a lot of mana to get them on. This one in particular kind of has like a bunch of guardrails on it where I'm like, I don't know. How good is doing this twice? Like lose 4, draw 4? For 5, like that, if you kind of think of it as that, which is sort of what it is, I don't love it, but it is like a value. I don't know. I unfortunately have put myself in the cowardice location and rated it in tier 3, so that will inevitably be wrong. Dissection Practice. Single black for an instant. Target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Up to 1 target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. I really like this. Tier 3 might even be too low. Very flexible card. Works with the life gain stuff. There's like anything with 1 toughness this just owns. And it's also a combat trick. So I think I'm inclined to move it up, honestly, to tier 2. I think I'm gonna so no, because it targets a creature, right? Yeah, no, I'm gonna move it up. It really is nice to just have like this type of effect in your deck. Just very cheap, flexible, sort of does a variety of things. Getting the extra drain is really nice. It just sort of any black deck is gonna want it, right? So I think tier 2 is fine. Like how many of these would I play? I'd probably play 3 of these and not be super sad about it. Emeritus of Woe. 3 and a black for a 5/4 that enters prepared. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 more creatures die this turn, it becomes prepared, and it has Demonic Tutor as its prepared spell. So basically, it's 6 mana for a 5/4 that tutors something. How good is that? It's pretty good. I don't really have like anything else to say about it. I don't think it's like broken. Like 6 mana, like if the card literally was just 3 black or 4 black black, 5/4, like with the demonic tutor attached to it, how good would that card be? It would be worse than how I've rated this, but not by like a huge margin. Because at the like it's nice when you have something broken. It's nice. It's just kind of like I don't know. It's one of those cards like I'm like you're gonna pack one, pick one it a lot. It's fine. I just don't think it's like oh man, my opponent played this. I instantly lose the game, right? Like it's not so good that it works. And again, the monocolored cards They aren't as it's not as valuable to be in monocolor in a guild set as it is in a normal set. Like if you were in a normal set and the card were this powerful, it would certainly be higher just because the monocolored nature of it really helps you draft it earlier. But this doesn't necessarily happen. So tier 2 it stays for now. End of the hunt. One in a black sorcery. Target opponent exiles a creature or planeswalker they control with the greatest mana value among creatures or planeswalkers they control. Yeah, I mean, like this is fine. It's not great. It solves some of the problems of the thing of the whatever they're called, the edicts, but it doesn't solve all the problems of the edicts. It does exile. It doesn't target anything. I think it's just fine removal. Basically, is kind of my take. Like the second copy of this is pretty bad. I don't know about like horrendously bad, but I wouldn't be excited to have a second copy of it. So yeah, I think it's fine. Eternal Student, 3 and a black, 4/2. Pay 1 and a black, exile this card from your graveyard, create 2/1/1 white and black inkling creature tokens with flying. I mean, this is just fantastic. Like, you obviously prefer to like mill this or discard it or something, but I mean, even if you play a 4-mana 4/2 that dies into a spell that makes like a second half of Lingering Souls, pretty good. Like if you mill this, it's just Lingering Souls, which is insane. So that's really, really strong. The bad case is you actually have to cast it and put it onto the battlefield. Like that's pretty bad. You don't want to do that. But I mean, I don't know. There's lots of ways to get it into the graveyard. Maybe not quite as many as it like you would think based on a series of set mechanics. There's kind of a little bit less mill than maybe you would have expected, given that a lot of the mechanics in the set do care about the graveyard. So I don't know about that, but sort of is what it is. Foolish Fate, 2 and a black, instant. Destroy target creature. Infusion. If you gain life this turn, that creature's controller loses 3 life. I'm going to move this up, actually, because I rated it before I understood that they changed how the pests work. So the pests work on attacks. So you can attack with the pest, and then it triggers, and then you can get this effect to trigger. So I'm going to move this up to tier 2. I think it's going to be relatively easy to gain life. So, yeah. And when you hit your opponent for 3 with this, it's just really, really insane. Forum Necroscribe, 5 and a black, 5/4, ward, discard a card. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So basically, this is just a 6 mana 2 for 1, right? Like it's a 5/4 that has to eat a removal spell, or you're just gonna start. Like anyway, I started blasting. I don't think this thing is gonna have the highest win rate on the planet because like sometimes it's just gonna get played and then it just dies, and that happens a lot with this. Like 6 mana 5/4 is really easy to kill. I understand you're getting a 2 for 1, but at this point in the game, like a lot of times you're just gonna end up discarding a land, and it's not even that bad to kill a six mana spell to like go down a land from your hand and deal 4 damage to something. So that really scares me. Of course, if you get to untap with it, great. You get your stuff back. Very powerful, but I think on the face of it, it has issues. It does. One of the things that it does work really well with is there's several prepared cards that have 1 mana spells attached to them. So if you play this on turns like 7 mana, and you play this and then use a 1 mana spell, that could really be something. And so that you could argue, but then you're playing a 7 drop. It's like, oh my god, 7 mana 5. You know what I mean? So it's asking a lot of you, but I do think it's quite good if you can like if the deck is functional, I think it's quite good. There's questions about the functionality of the deck. Grave Researcher, 2 and a black, 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. Then if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, this creature becomes prepared, and it has the prepared thing is reanimate. So this is kind of like worse than it looks, right? So 3 mana 3/3 do nothing, like stone cold nothing. Just to be clear, like 3 mana 3/3 do nothing on ETB. So that's what's happening. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you're surveilling 1 on your 3-drop. Like that's not even good. Like that's fine. Like there's 3 drops that have just entered the battlefield and surveilled. So you're kind of already like once this has survived for 1 turn, you're getting the value of what your 3-drop usually should be when it is just played on turn 3. So then there has to be 3 creature cards in your graveyard, and like your graveyard. And so like, and then you're gonna surveil creatures into your graveyard, even though maybe you want to draw the creatures. Like I don't know, man. And again, I don't think there's a ton of self mill, so it's not like this is the easiest thing to enable. If you can freaking like cast reanimate every turn, that's pretty decent. Again, you only have so much life to play with, but again, you're gaining life probably in this format. A lot of life gain out there, so it's not impossible that the reanimate can do stuff. I'm pretty down on this. I really think the 3-mana 3/3 is pretty bad. Obviously, again, like it's one of those cards like, well, if I untap with it and I have the thing set up, maybe I'll do some great stuff. And that's true, but how often is that actually going to happen? Feels like less often than you'd like. Last Gasp, 1 in a black, instant. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. This is why this card is not very as not rated as highly as maybe you would think. Like this is just like this just shows you like kind of what I mean. Like this is a removal spell. It's very good. Everybody's gonna pick it. It's gonna plays in every deck. It's an instant. It's -3/-3 instead of dealing 3 damage, which is way better usually. So yeah, great. Lecturing Scorn Mage. Single black for a 1/1. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. I like this quite a bit. So you're getting a 1-drop. Really plays into the thing that this deck wants, right? So there's a lot of things that want you to have creatures on the board early, and this is a creature that's going to be on the board early and is threatening, is going to stick around. So black-white certainly really, really wants this. I don't know how much green black is going to want this, but I don't even think it's bad in green black. I really don't, so I think I would play it there. Because again, you get 1 counter on this, it's not even bad, and then you get 2 counters over the course of the game. It's pretty solid. I don't really have anything to say about it. Leech Collector. 1 in a black 2/2. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, this creature becomes prepared. And it has Bloodletting for a single black. Each opponent loses 2 life. It's a sorcery. So basically, you're getting the ability to pay 1 to deal 2, which is pretty good. But it's coming attached to a 2-mana 2/2, which isn't great. It's okay. A lot of 2-mana 2/2s in the set, so it's just going to be doing a lot of trading, which kind of feels bad. And you have to spend mana to do the thing. Like it's kind of it's gonna end games sometimes. Again, I don't think saying this is a bad card. I'm just saying like would I get into black for this? I don't think so. Like I don't think I'm picking this pack 1 pick 1 and being like, oh man, get me into black to play this thing. I'm just not. And it's really black green. This is really just a black green card. So I like it just I'm not that excited about it. Wait, would I play it in black green? Probably. Probably play it, gotta pick 6. Play it in black green, be pretty happy about it. But to get into black green, I don't love it. Masterful Florist, single black instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Yeah, so just a spell that targets something. It's 1 mana trick, gives something indestructible. Fine. I'm not excited about it, but yeah, maybe playable. Melancholic Poet, 1 in a black 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I certainly feel like I prefer this to the other one that we just saw, the other 2-drop. That's an uncommon. Like this, I just like this better. You're getting the drain up front. Now, obviously, I have them in the same tier, which shows you that I'm not super thrilled about either of them. I think this one's better, but by how much, I don't know. Could like the similar. This one just asks less of you. So, yeah. Just draining your opponent for 1 every time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, basically. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Also, 2/2, it can block. Kind of. Museo Vane's New Dream. 2 in a black 2/1 flying. When it enters, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with infusion. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, return up to 1 target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. I mean, this is just a good card, right? So 3 mana, 2/1 flyer, make a 1/1. Pretty good. No complaints there. The second ability, there's like reasonable odds that it does something. So like your opponent does want to kill this. There's a number of incidental pings in like red that exist in this set. So like I would be a little worried about a 2/1 flyer. Does die relatively easily. But it's a threat. Your opponent's kind of got to kill it, and then you're up a card, and you're really happy about that. So Definitely a good 3-drop. No real complaints. Poisoner's Apprentice, 2 in a black, 2/2 infusion. When this creature enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -4/-1 for turn if you gain life this turn. Yeah, should be pretty easy to enable with the pests. Although lots of other incidental life gain stuff. Does need the help, so it's not in tier 1, but just a very, very strong card if you can enable it. And I think even in black-white decks, you're going to be able to enable it at a somewhat high frequency. Although it is kind of a little sketchy because I don't know, like there is lifelink stuff, there's some life gain stuff. I don't know. You're gonna have to see how it performs in black white, but yeah. Post Mortem Professor, 1 in the black, 2/2 can't block. When it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, 1 in a black and exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to return this card to the battlefield. I don't love these type of cards. Not being able to block on your 2-drop is just really bad on the draw. Like, you play this on turn 2 on the draw, your opponent has attacked you, you're at, 18, 17. Obviously, it's going to drain him back, but, then they play a 3-drop and this just does nothing. This just does nothing for the whole rest of the game. Like, it just sits there. There's not a ton of sack outlets. There's some, there's not a ton. It just sits there, can't block. Your opponent just gets to beat you down, and just it's just not even like I don't know. It's just not. I don't like these cards. If it could block, I would have it in probably tier 1, honestly. If it could block, but it can't. So I don't even know. Tier 1's still rich. I don't know. We're not living in hypotheticals. I'm pretty out. Pox Plague, black, 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 black. Um, some irrelevant text that like each player loses half their life, discards half their hand, sacrifice half their permanents, and then you round down for each of them. It's uncastable, so we're not going to think about it too hard. Pull from the grave, 2 in a black sorcery, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, you gain 2 life. Kind of think this is interesting. The raised dead effects, the double raised deads, tend to be sort of in the tier 4 range. This is definitely in that range for me, but I'm interested by it. My interest is piqued by this card for sure because the life gain does matter, and it helps with really the main problem of these type of cards. So definitely would keep an eye out on this. I certainly am expecting to play some number of copies of these over the course of the format. Rabid Attack. 1 on a black instant until end of turn. Any number of target creatures you control each get +1/+0 in game when this creature dies. Draw a card. This effect always looks really good on paper. It's like, oh, my stuff's gonna trade off, and then I'm gonna draw 2 cards, and then yeah. But in practice, it doesn't usually work out that way. So maybe this time it'll just kind of line up well with the format and it'll be good. But I think for the most part, these are very hard to make work. Ral Zarek, guest lecture, 1 black black 3/3 +1 surveil 2. -1. Any number of target players each discard a card. -2. Return target creature card mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And -7. Flip a bunch of coins and stuff. I don't know. Stuff happens when you get to -7, and it's not like a real ability because you can't really ever get to 7. But I mean, you can, but the game has already ended by the time you get there usually. I'm not even sure it's an ability you want to click on, but so this is weird. It doesn't directly interact with your opponent's board state. Generally, planeswalkers that don't do that tend to be interesting. All the removal in this set hits planeswalkers basically, so it's not as if there are some formats where they just don't print removal that hits planeswalkers. I think Murders at Karlov Manor was the last one. Maybe there's another one I'm not remembering. I'm not even sure there's a planeswalker in that set, just to be clear. I don't know. So let's just kind of run down the base case with this. It's double pipped, which is the real thing keeping it out of tier 1 is the pip cost. Double pip is really bad. So you play this on 3. Really, you play this on turn 4 a lot, which is a lot worse. It's just so much worse on a planeswalker to have it be double pipped because the difference between playing this on turn 3 and turn 4 is extremely high. If you can't play this on turn 3, it gets a lot worse. So if you are able to play it on turn 3, you probably are going to just either make them discard a card or surveil 2. Neither of those modes is super exciting. You can discard a 3-drop, but then you can't really reanimate it because then your -2 just kills your guy. Like, it just is so awkward in every direction. I don't think it's bad. It's a Planeswalker that makes your opponent discard cards fine. You can just surveil. I don't know. It's kind of a tame-ish Planeswalker. Scathing Shade Lock. 4 and a black, 4/6. At the beginning of your first main phase, this becomes prepared. And it has the sorcery for 1 and a black. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. I kind of have talked myself into this thing. Like, I saw it and I'm like, it's nothing. It's a 6. It's a 5-mana 4/6. Whatever. Who cares? 5-mana 4/6 I think might be the best possible, like, of the reasonable stat lines that you would print on a card that's 5-mana. 4/6 might be the one that is, like, the best of them. Like, I think it's better than 6/4. I think it's better than 5/5. I just kind of feel like it just kind of feels to me like the best stat line you can realistically have on your 5-drop. Obviously you could just increase the numbers, but you get what I'm saying. And then the ability is like it's a repeatable way to trigger all your targeting stuff, and it turns your pests into like actual attackers for 1 mana every turn. And by the time you're at 5 mana, like, you're gonna have mana to spend every turn doing this for the most part. I kind of like it. Tier 3, obviously, still not, a roaring endorsement, but I certainly think this is a very interesting and cool card. Scheming Silver Tongue, 1 and a black, 1/3, flying lifelink. At the beginning of your second main phase, if you gained 2 or more life this turn, this creature becomes prepared, and its prepared card is Sign in Blood. Target player draws 2 cards, loses 2 life. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. So 2 mana, 2, 1/3, flying lifelink. This is really, really good in black-white, of course, because there's like putting counters on stuff, themes, more there. But it'll play in any black deck, and then it just plays. It just plays. Always, and then sometimes you just get to cast Sign in Blood occasionally. Like, occasionally it's just like, yeah, I'll just cast Sign in Blood. Sign in Blood's a good card. When you get to decide when you want to cast it and it's stapled to your other card. Yeah, great card. Send in the Pest. 1 on a black sorcery. Each opponent discards a card. You create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. Yeah, I mean, 2 mana 1/1 that makes your opponent discard a card. We've seen many times. This is a better version of that. How much better? We'll see. It's been. I mean, the Virus Beetle is undefeated. Like, the Virus Beetle is 2 for 2. It's always been the nuts. This, I think, is worse than Virus Beetle, but not by like a huge number. So yeah, I think it's fine. Solid. It's also a sorcery. There's some weird stuff in black that cares about exiling sorceries, whatever. I don't know. Sneering Shade Rider, 4 and a black, 3/3, flying. When this creature enters, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So we've seen this card before. Grasping Thrall, of course. Time comes for us all in the end. And I suspect that a 5 mana 3/3 is a lot worse than the last time, but I don't think it's completely washed. I suspect that it's not completely washed up. It's just really hard to put a 5-drop like this in your deck. We shall see, I suppose, whether or not that ends up being the realities of the world we live in, or if perhaps this card still has it. It's not. I don't think it's going to be a bad card. I just, a lot of good 5 mana spells, right? Like, a lot of good 5 mana spells, so just not easy to prioritize. Tragedy Feaster, 2 black, 7/6 trample, ward, discard a card. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice a permanent unless you gained life this turn. We've kind of talked about how reasonably easy it is to gain life. It seems rather incidental. Like, I've been concerned about it in some episodes of like this set review. I've been like, can you really gain life all that much? And this, it's like, maybe you can gain life a little more. So definitely up for debate as to how much life you're going to be able to gain. But I mean, like, I don't know. Like, sacrificing a land isn't great, but the fact that it's a ward, discard a card, 6 toughness, you just get to attack. Like, the thing is, even if your opponent has stuff to block this, they're still gonna get like trade with it, and then like you're gonna be happy. Sometimes sacrificing things is even good. There's gonna be some, like, the fact that there are some game states where you just play this on turn 4, don't have to sacrifice anything, and then every turn you just get to like keep going. Is kind of crazy. So I certainly has costs, and it is a sort of a build-around card, but yeah, you're going to play this, I think. I think even in black-white, you probably play it a reasonable amount. Ulna Alley Shopkeep, 2 and a black, 2/3 menace. It's +2/+0 as long as you gain life this turn. So I did say gaining life pre-combat is impossible. That's false. Obviously, the pests do it on attack. So it's if you attack with a pest and attack with this, it's a 4/3. The rating does not change. To be honest with you, it's still just horrid. Doesn't block. And doesn't really attack all that well, to be honest. Like it's just bad. There's no text on this that's appealing to me. Unplayable in black white, and not even good in green black. Like theory you could play it in green black. I don't really see it. Wander off, 3 and a black, instant, exile target creature. So notably, this is a effect that normally is double pipped, and this time it is not double pipped, so it'll be very splashable. In a format where splashing will be reasonably easy, I would suggest. Um, yeah, and I mean genuinely. So like this card is just format exile creature. It's pretty good. Exile is I think better in this set than usual because of graveyard stuff, various graveyard things. So exile always good. I think 4-mana removal spell that's single pipped really helps out quite a bit. And the final black card is Withering Curse. 1 black sorcery. All creatures get -2/2 until end of turn. Infusion if you gain life this turn. Destroy all creatures instead. Tier 4 is too much. Tier 4 is too much. I gotta relax on my wrath hating. I think it's gonna be pretty easy to gain life, especially in black green. So I will move it up a tier. And even if you can't gain life, is it so bad? Is it? Can we be bad? Is it so bad? The fact that the wrath has a buyout mode to be like cheap, like, is really good. And you know, sometimes you can like choose if you want creatures to get -2/2 or blown up. Like there's just a lot of interesting like play patterns with this that are good. So I will relent. I will relent on my hatred. So that's it. That's it for black. Uh, Sort of all over the place. Lot of bad cards early. Common kind of felt like, and we'll see some of the high rarity cards work. There's some stuff that I'm excited about. I don't know how I feel about it. We'll see. But thanks for checking this out. There are going to be more set review videos for Strixhaven and going forward. So please check those out, and I will see you next time.